was initiated on the campus of James Madison University in the spring of 1986. The chapter there is the Xi Delta chapter. Well, obviously I was made in a college chapter, and so after graduating JMU, I moved to Richmond and affiliated with a chapter, an alumni chapter there. But I wasn't in Richmond for long. I actually ended up moving into the DC area just about the early 90s. And I just started my career at C-SPAN in 1993. And that same year, I was approached by a brother who was actually a brother that went to school with me. I was living in the area, and he said that he wanted to check out this new chapter that was trying to be started out in Prince George's County. So I was like, sure. I said, let me check that out. So I went along with him, and from there I met Brother Bob Kirkland, and I met Brother Alex Bailey, and met many other brothers who were also interested in starting this chapter. I wasn't quite sure back then about the idea of starting a chapter. There were a lot of chapters in the DC area, and I was living in DC at the time, so I was really challenged with figuring out, well, do I really want to get affiliated with a chapter out in PG County? You know, I have to make the drive out there. You know, I have to do service projects out in that area as opposed to DC. But every chapter has its own culture, its own vibe. And so what appealed to me was actually being part of something that I could have some influence in from the ground up, and kind of make it my own, or contribute to making it what it will hopefully become, which is a great chapter. Well, I mean, any president will probably tell you, that your presidency is kind of riddled with challenges. That well, as soon as you tackle one, another one comes along. I guess for me, I'll back up and say, with the prior administration, Brother Chris Moore, one of his themes was the new school movement. And so, for him, he wanted to really kind of make that connection and infuse a kind of a new youthful spirit within the chapter, and really start to rally some of the younger brothers together, and to really bring PUL into, I guess, a new age, if you will. Some brothers in the chapter around that time had their own agendas, and they felt that they wanted certain things for PUL that PUL as a whole wasn't really about. And so from that came some tension, and it kind of left the chapter in a fairly dark period where there were divisions, there were groups, factions that were really kind of dividing the chapter. And so my task coming into my presidency was to figure out how to refocus the chapter and get it back into the principles that are really all about Alpha, which is community service and the brotherhood, really reconnecting to those themes. And so that first year, we focused a lot on the good work that we do, because up until that time, we were doing great things in Prince George's County. I mean, it's just absolutely wonderful things with our mentoring and our highway cleanup, and just the March of Dimes. We were really on track for success and getting very well known in the county. And so I wanted to really refocus our efforts in that direction. And so we really started to chart a course where we focused on those things. We got a plan together for accomplishing our food basket deliveries, making sure that we did our highway programs, adopt highway programs, visiting nursing homes, all the things that we were doing. Go back to it, look at it, refine it, and focus it, and make it good. And then once we got there from that first year, I challenged the brothers to bring their A game. That was the theme for my second year, and really asking brothers to examine themselves at a more personal level in terms of their commitment to Alpha, and really bringing forth the very best when it came to how they executed their programs, how they participated in meetings, how they treated brothers. regardless of a brother that you knew personally from a brother you just met. You know, really, really putting forth the best alpha you could possibly be. And in my last year, it was about taking all of those lessons that we had learned, and you know, and really just kind of honing in on connecting and focusing on our brotherhood and just remaining strong as a chapter. Well, the community service always makes me proud. I mean, you know, like I said, I wanted us to get back to the basics and really focus on our service. And not only just doing projects and doing events, but doing them well and doing them in a way that, you know, the community sees us and that they know about us, and it makes them want to notice us. I think the greatest compliment is when I can go out and say Pi Upsilon Lambda, and they know exactly who this chapter is. They know about Alpha Phi Alpha, and they know about Pi Upsilon Lambda. So, you know, that work in turn is great. And then, you know, to be recognized for it by the brothers is another thing. So, you know, even though it's never been about the recognition, you know, we did decide to run for Chapter of the Year for the years that I was president, and we won at the Eastern Region level twice. Exactly how proud I am of what we've been able to accomplish, not just this past year, but the past 16 years. And this is really high milestones for this chapter that we should all celebrate. And I know our brothers back home are just as excited as we are and wish that they could be here at this historic occasion. So I want to say to you, brothers, hold the light of Alpha high, and let's take it, let's bring it home for the national. And so, you know, that was a tremendous honor for me personally, because I felt like, hopefully through my leadership, that, you know, it inspired us to greater heights, to really focus on the things that matter, and for the fraternity to recognize that as being, you know, the top in the Eastern region, that are meeting the goals and the mandates set forth by the fraternity was tremendous. I think about March of Dimes, for example, and, you know, we were really successful during my administration of, you know, being the top fundraisers for the local March of Dimes for those 3 years and beyond. And, you know, what turned into a friendly competition amongst brothers really became a mission of love in terms of really being able to, you know, meet one of our national objectives, because March of Dimes is a national partner, but, you know, helping a great cause. PUL was really, and has been really, really strong when it comes to mentoring our young black men in our area high schools. And I think that any time that we can make a difference, even just one young man, we can make a difference in their life, then we will have achieved a great deal. And so I'm really proud of what we were able to accomplish over the years with our mentoring. Wow. I think PUL has made me a much better alpha in so many ways. I would think that, you know, coming from a college chapter, you know, it's hard, and a lot of, you know, a lot of brothers who, you know, have had the college experience will tell you it's difficult sometimes to make that transition between college and alumni, because, you know, that college chapter mentality is very college-centric or very chapter-centric. And so, you know, it's always been about my Xi Delta brothers, and, you know, we're all alphas, but, you know, I love my Xi Delta brothers, and I still do and continue to love those brothers and the great work that they're doing at JMU. But, you know, for me to be a part of a chapter like PUL, and to be a part of it from the ground up, and to think that, you know, I had some hand in it, really challenged me as an alpha to, you know, step up and, you know, and be the kind of role model I hope to be for the young men in this community and the brothers in this fraternity. And, and as much as I love PUL, I still go back to JMU every now and then, and I still keep in touch and have a close connection with the Xi Delta brothers. And, and I see them at conventions as well. So, and I encourage them. And I think my ability to do that really stems from my relationship that I have with PUL. And the fact that PUL has taught me a lot about brotherhood and how to give back and be a true brother, whether it's a brother in the chapter, brother outside of the chapter, or a college brother. I'm not sure how to answer that question, because I don't think from an objective, from a goal level, from the goals that I had and the vision I had for the chapter, that I would have done really anything differently, to be quite honest with you. I felt that, if I was going to do this, if I was going to take on this challenge, I really had to be true to what I thought the chapter needed, and and what I could offer. And so, I don't think that I would have changed anything. If I could have changed anything, it was the circumstances that, my personal circumstances, because again, the first year, I had to not just deal with being a new president, but deal with the challenges of my father's failing health, and in a way, I feel like PUL really saved me, and I leaned on the shield, if you will, in terms of really turning to like my vice presidents and brothers like Brother Bailey, Brother Wilson, to really rally around me, and they did. And I was just really surprised that nobody called for my resignation, and some brothers were amazed that I actually got through that year, and that as a chapter we were able to accomplish so much. But and I credit the brothers for that. I would think I just kind of outlined my vision for the chapter, but it was really the brothers who stepped up to that and said, we hear you, Brother Brown. We're going to make this happen. Run! Run! Oh, I would tell any president that you have to find your voice, and you have to share that voice with the brothers. It's really important that whatever your personal goals are for, or your wishes are for the chapter, that the brotherhood really understands that and can get behind it. And it's not until you can share. It's one thing to have that deep inside your brain, knowing that, oh, I want the chapter to be this and I want the chapter to be that. But it's another thing to really open up and express that, and make sure that the brothers really rally behind that, because you're not able to really achieve a whole lot in terms of your goals if the brothers aren't supporting you, if they don't understand the intent of what you do. And so I would say to any president, the president now and any president after and into the future, that their voice is important.